Welcome to Collective Shift. Today we're going through the Yuga Labs pitch deck. ApeCoin has been released recently, so we wanted to go through the leaked, old, outdated, whatever you want to call it, pitch deck. I think it's a fascinating document that I actually haven't been through yet. Hello everyone, I'm Nathan over at collectiveshift.io. Today we're going to run through the pitch deck as fast as we can. I haven't looked at it like I just said, and I wanted to look at it kind of just with you on the fly and see what we can glean about what they're planning for the future. Who knows how dated it is and how much they're going to change their plans based on now it being public. But I think we're going to get a lot of information from this. So looking forward to going through it quickly. We've got 90 slides to go through. Feel free to put comments and questions in the chat. Now, on top of just the pitch deck, they raised $450 million I think yesterday, this week, at a $4 billion valuation. So this pitch deck helped them get a $450 million seed round. It's very funny that it's called a seed round. That's probably one of the largest ever. And additionally, they've just released the Ape token. And to me, it's been so far a successful launch. Outside, price aside and price performance aside, I think they've set best practices and gold standards for how to launch an ERC20 token if you're an NFT collection. So no time to lose. We already got one viewer here. Hey, how you doing? Let's get into it. Here is the Yuga Labs pitch deck. We're going to go 1 through 90, right on through. Most likely we'll breeze through the first part about like what the company's about, and then we'll talk mostly about future and roadmap activities. So let's get into it. Here we've got legal disclaimers. Here is the table of contents. We're going to talk the company, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, future and roadmap, and financials. We'll probably focus on future and roadmap and financials mostly, hopefully about a 10-15 minute call here. So we're going to breeze through this. Yuga Labs, they're a Web3 company exploring big ideas in identity, ownership, utility, interoperability, pushing crypto and NFT forward. Founded by 4 founders. They also have, looks like, expertise in media and technology with 4 other major contributors. They've got 46 employees and counting from great places like Google, Oculus, Twitter, Apple, Dune Game, etc. 46% of the employees are female, diverse staff, and then all of them own Bored Ape Yacht Club and come from the community. And their overall thesis is they're bridging the gap between culture and Web3. They've created the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and that's just the beginning, they say, to an expanded frontier of IP, new utility for the NFTs, new product development. Oh, I've got to change the title, excuse me. Give me 1 second. Apologies for that. Let's get back into it. They also want to break metaverse boundaries, do new verticals, looking like gaming, streetwear, events, and more. Now to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Everything that we know about them, we'll breeze through this. We know it's a yacht club. Utilities key, surpassed a 100th floor, backed by culture. They've got a lot of Twitter followers. They've got a lot of Instagram followers. Great. Celebrities are buying in. We do know this. And more broadly, they're creating a community that lives to play, learn, work, and just be together. And they say that their engagement together, a lot, mostly on Twitter, but of course everywhere outside the digital space as well. And there we go. They do give examples of a lot of in real life Bored Ape Yacht Club immersion, yacht club parties, merch, streetwear. They also have Ape Fest in 2021 in New York City. Believe that was a massive success. They got photos from Ape Fest. They have one of the largest and most active Discords in the community. They did a treasure hunt, which I think some people some people really enjoyed. They had the Apes versus Mutants mobile game. And now they're talking about how they're going to be larger than just the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So they want to build something that expands the universe of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but also invites the larger NFT community and those priced out of Bored Ape Yacht Club membership to join. So they really want to be bottoms up from a community building standpoint rather than top down. Now, this pitch deck's on the back of a $450 million raise that was announced this week at a $4 billion valuation. So here's what they were talking about from future and roadmap and the financials, where we want to look at, most of the crux of our analysis today, and see what they're going to, what are they going to use with 450 million. So first off, they just cement the first principle that we are all in a race to the metaverse and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So they think about it as 100%. Facebook, now Meta, is banking trillions on it. But they do ask the question, does anyone else feel like existing metaverses are underwhelming? They say the idea of a metaverse isn't new. There's almost no question that humanity is moving towards an immersive virtual experience while we get deeper into the digital age. And if we aren't already living in a simulation, that is. So they put in a little joke there into their pitch deck, which is nice because we're pretty much talking about that forefront. They talk about the metaverses. It's just that metaverses in fiction are exciting and dynamic, and the ones we can explore today are not. So they're kind of setting a framework here in the pitch deck that says today's metaverses aren't good enough. And the Bored Ape Yacht Club and ApeCoin has the ability to build something better. So we get into what's missing on page 40 of 90. So about 40 slides in. They say we're missing a purpose, real stakes, shared goals, connections, and decisions that matter. They also say they want a story to care about and to participate in. And it's pretty true. A lot of the metaverses today, it's kind of just you log in and, it's up to you to explore and figure it out for yourself. So they do say a virtual social hub isn't enough to hold attention long term. Kind of talking about current metaverses like Decentraland, Sandbox, CryptoVoxels. And mainly, I think they're pointing to Decentraland. Today's metaverses are trying to make something new, but they're just creating something boring, they say. They say they're siloed. And isn't the whole point of a metaverse to have one virtual world that all of humanity is tied to? Interesting. If everyone is building their own, how does that work? And they do say they'll give some thoughts on that later. So it looks like they're going towards a monolithic theory here where they do want one virtual world for everybody else to build into rather than, a multi-chain or a plethora of worlds that need to be connected. Now, they say they already have examples of people gathering online, forming lifelong friendships, and kicking ass. I think some people have called it the Fortnite generation of young people who go home after school, get on Fortnite, and then they live with their decentralized communities. And then Bored Ape Yacht Club, or Yuga Labs, says all of those examples are in gaming, which is pretty true. That's why they say they're not building a metaverse. They're building the interoperable gaming metaverse, a meta RPG or meta role RGP. Yeah, so a meta RGP. Their next valuation, then they say if we build it, they will come. And now they say, why will their metaverse succeed? And the answer is simply that they have a story and a brand that current culture is obsessed with. So I think they're making the assumption here, the claim that not only do you need world-class tech building your virtual world, you need to have a compelling story and culture and brand behind it that people can identify with so they feel like they're at home in the virtual world. And there's some truth to that. I own a plot of Decentraland land, and when I do drop in, it doesn't really feel like home to me. So if you had virtual worlds far more tailored to the brand of Bored Ape Yacht Club or Cool Cats or Cryptodes or whatever it is, it would make me feel more at home. So what they've created, Yuga Labs, is storytelling, pop culture, taste, and they say fun in just the right amounts. And what they're building is bigger than Bored Apes over at Yuga Labs. They asked the question, how do we create something that unifies everyone towards this goal of an interoperable meta RGP? And they say by creating something truly decentralized and interoperable, a metaverse that makes all other metaverses obsolete. Let's guess that makes sense. They want to build a brand new gaming experience where money is real, you actually own your land and resources, and everyone can bring their own NFT character, and anyone can create in-game assets. So again, this theory of bottom-up building, very much in the vein of the Loot project and other metadata projects where users are given data to work with, and then it's up to the community to build and create the lore, create the stories, create the brand, and create history pretty much. They say play as whatever Web3 persona you want, and they just had a recent teaser video teasing their other side metaverse, and I think it had World of Women in it, Cool Cats, Crypto, other CCO. Here we have also some Deadfellas, Clonexes, MFers, Doodles. So it looks like they'll be building for every NFT collection to come in and live in this other side metaverse. They're going to build a software development kit that allows collections, creators, and developers to build for any community who wants it, thereby creating an infinite ecosystem entirely available in our in-game marketplace. Very cool. So they do want to build some tech stack for us to create natively within their platform. Talk about software development kits for all things that matter to users today and a platform for them to collaborate on what's next. So create all of the new characters in the world, and then all of different attributes and skins, digital clothing, gear, and more. Also game development. So it is going to be a game focused world, it seems like. They say games accounted for 71% of the total app revenue in 2020. So they're making a claim that gaming is essential from a revenue standpoint, and from a financial standpoint. iOS generated 47 billion in revenue in 2020, while Google Play made 37 billion. So I think they're saying that one part of Google, just the Google Play, was making consider almost as much as iOS, I guess. Fortnite annual revenues are above 5 billion. Now, they're asking that why the NFT community is the best audience for this metaverse that they want to build, because they're already living in Web3 and experimenting with alternative currencies, and that's very much true. The NFT community and even the DeFi community is the adult versions of digital communities for sure. Now, they're saying it's not only a game, it's going to be more than just a game. It's a whole new economy they want to build in this metaverse. We're here on slide 62, so we got about a third left, looking at the future of what they want to build at Yuga Labs. Now, speaking of currencies, here comes ApeCoin. So this was written, probably far before ApeCoin was launched. So we know a lot of this information already potentially. So let's breeze through some of this. Be the currency of their metaverse, one unifying coin, and it looks like it will power their own app store. So they have their own NFT marketplace. They'll encourage trading and bartering, and can introduce a soft currency to allow for more accessible spending. Interesting. So it looks like there could be future currencies or derivatives. ApeCoin will unify the currency between reality and real gameplay. And what's the catalyst? They say, they have Bored Ape Yacht Club. They switch gears and start talking about the Big Bang. So we've got a slide here on page 69, saying that the Big Bang created a massive explosion of energy, shooting out in every direction. Really, they're really getting celestial on us. And yes, they go through, these celestials were unique and special. And one by one, they've exhausted the energy they were born with. Oh, cool. So they're building new NFTs here. We've got coders. KODAS. And if anybody saw the ApeCoin video, the teaser video for the new Other Side metaverse, here is a coda. So I won't actually go through the lore because it's not really important. Just more important that we will have coda NFTs here that will play a part in the Other Side world. And let's read this last one. The coders have used their last remaining cosmic energy to birth one final microverse into our dimension. Great. So we've got some history, some lore here of how the metaverse was built. And they say the coders have created it. They've pulled the perfect candidates, apes at the end of capitalism and other interoperable NFTs through our metaverse and dumped us into a strange new land. Interesting. So they've got some lore in here that we're ending capitalism. You know, wouldn't be the first person at this day and age in this part of human history that's claiming it. But it's interesting they've woven it into their history of their metaverse and their lore. So good stuff there. So I'll probably go reread that by myself, but you can read the history of the coders from slide 69 through to 71. That's good. Good. They've got some story, some lore there behind the actual metaverse. You know, a lot of this branding for this pitch deck has been, we have a story, we have highly valuable NFTs, and that's why our metaverse is better than yours. Now, looking at the game. So there will be a game. The game will be the metaverse. Potentially the metaverse will be the game. Still unknown there in my mind. They're calling the meta, they state that the meta RPG will launch with a land sale. These land plots will correspond to real land in their game. We've seen a leaked pitch deck that did, here it is. Here is the leaked, one of the leaked slides. They're going to be selling 200,000 land plots in 2 lots. The Genesis drop will be 100,000 plots, and then there'll be a second sale of the second 100,000. Conservative estimate for the land price is 1 ETH. So it looks like they want to give 200 million in primary sales just from the Genesis, from the first 100,000 plots of land sold. Each plot of land will have the possibility of containing natural resources, rare artifacts, or if you were lucky, a coda. So potentially, if you bought a piece of land in their minting process, you could get one with a coda on it with an NFT. Pretty cool concept there. They have concepts and works of art here for building quite wild and futuristic virtual worlds. Great. They've got some concept art here about a place called Shadowland. And it's got information. It's looking like an NFT marketplace page where it has the NFT asset, and then it has our metadata and our information on the right-hand side in this case. There's a little bit more information about the CODAS NFTs. There's going to be 10,000 unique CODAs randomly distributed amongst the lands. Well, you know, per this pitch deck, they may change all of these plans, obviously, now that the pitch deck's been, you know, launched in public or leaked in public. Here we got some concepts on the CODAs. They're looking pretty cool. And directly after the land sale, the game economy will begin with owners taking stock of what they have and beginning to trade, hold, buy, and sell. And then there'll be, you know, the game theory really kicks into play with everybody's decisions and opportunistic probabilities. Overarching, the metaverse wants to be massive, live, a multiplayer experience. They want it to look and feel amazing. So they want it to be a world-class experience. Blockchain-based in-game economy, primary and secondary sales markets, NFT compatibility, and more. Here is the roadmap that was leaked kind of a few weeks ago, and they were going to do the first plot sale of 100,000 land plots in March. So maybe by the end of the week, that might happen. That could would be really good timing for ApeCoin. Give it a little bit of increased discussion and potentially some increased utility if you can, you know, purchased one of the first 100,000 land plots with ApeCoin. They were going to do the second metaverse land sale in August per this outdated roadmap. The other thing that was really cool is that the monetization plan for Bored Ape Kennel Club was going to happen in September, and they were going to do that by creating mecha dogs. So it looks like they were going to take some kennel dogs and create mecha dogs. I'm envisioning that similar to Bored Apes getting mutants or to that effects. So potentially more NFTs. They did to launch coders and airdrop the coders in May per this roadmap. And then they were thinking about a blockchain-based game in October. Play to earn blockchain-based game monetization plan for Bored Ape Yacht Club. So that was just a roadmap for 2022 and just through the end of the year. Moving on to the slide 83 of 90, almost at the end. We're on to financials. Let's go and have a look. I got the roadmap again. They got a budget. Well, they have an income statement here, a budget for 2022, and they also have actual for 2021. We'll go actual to the present. Looking like they made about 137 million last year with net revenue or profit of, wow, 127. Outside of probably a lot of expenses. So, well, gross profit was sitting about 95%. So really not a lot of cost of goods sold. Really a lot of intellectual overhead, it seems. Yeah, they don't have enough here for payroll. So definitely not all the expenses logged in here. But for budgeting next year, it looks like we'll concentrate on the revenue number. Looks like they want to go from 137 in 2021 to over 500 million, nearly 540 million in revenue for 2022. Here are revenue channels. So the majority of that's going to be coming from land sales. So the 2 land sales, probably the biggest deal for them this year, and the success of those. After that, it's Bored Ape Yacht Club secondary sales. So that just goes to show the importance of the apes. After that, it looks like Mecha Ape. So they were going to release potentially new NFTs, Mecha Apes. They would have had primary sales revenue from that. And then after that, we get into more land sales. They're talking about goblins here and also mechanical dogs. So potentially more NFT primary sales. They want to look at net revenue before tax. And it seems like it's quite cyclical. Looks like the majority of revenue is going to be made in March and August based off of the 2 land sales. And actually, Mecha Apes. So March was land sale. June, we had a pop as well. I think that was the second land sale. And then August was the Mecha Apes. Well, a little bit more stable there towards the end of the year. They're saying net revenue by the end of the year will be sitting in the high teens. So 17 to 20 million in net revenue before tax per month. Now, strategic investments. Looks like they're going to be expending some costs on community building, Miami events, Ape Fest, of course, another treasure hunt. The cost of that, they want to spend 15 million on their community events this year. Games, they want to spend 28 million. We've already seen the Bored Ape Yacht Club versus Mutant Ape game. They've also got 3 other games, Trials of Jimmy the Monkey, Mecha Apes game, and the Bored Ape Kennel Club game. And then land sales. They do want to put in about 4.6 million into land sale and development, and then also selling the plots of land. And it looks like that will be their biggest windfall this year is the land sale. So that's probably much of their success harbors on good land sales, and obviously everyone's quite bullish at the moment. Key metrics: revenues up 306%, net revenues up 258%, and they say thank you. Awesome. Well, that was great. That was a really, really quality pitch deck. They introduced some new NFTs, the coders. They kind of expanded on their vision of the metaverse. We had a few different concepts and works of art for the metaverse. A little simplistic there, especially when you're raising 450 million. But a lot of trust in the team that's kind of caught lightning in the bottle by creating Bored Ape Yacht Club. Quite surprised how large the team was. The team was over 40 people, which is great to see. So a lot of full-time work going on over at the Yacht Club or over at Yuga Labs. And what else? Great to see that they're building software development kits. So they do want to build a tech stack for people to build in their metaverse. If they really want it to be interoperable and people to, build for them, I guess. If you buy a land plot, then you build on your land plot. It's up to you to create your land plot. Then, yeah, it's good they're building a software development kit. And there was definitely that air of, like I just mentioned, we want you to build for us. And probably that's the biggest risk for me is we've seen other metaverses do that, where they do want the community to build on top of, build independently and grow the community together. And it is tough. So one of the big valuation propositions of this pitch deck was that Yuga Labs have created a brand, they have created a story, and they're going to continue to. So that will create a bit more of an attachment for users and will be far more sticky and far more enjoyable than existing metaverses. So overall, really quality pitch deck. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully you did too. Thank you everyone that showed up. Head over to collectiveshift.io for more information. We're putting up an ApeCoin asset page soon to complement all of our other assets that we are tracking. And thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Perfect. Went a little over, about 27 minutes. So really appreciate the people that hung around. Paul, hey, Paul, what's Mecha Ape? Unsure at the moment, to be honest. Looks like it's just a concept that they had that they were probably going to release some more NFTs and that they would have Mecha Ape NFTs or potentially a Mecha Ape game, but unsure there. Did look like it was a bit of a windfall for them. Really like this slide at the end. I'll actually just go back to one more slide if I can. Don't know if I'll be able to. No. Oh, there we go. The revenue concentration slide was a nice one. 9.3% from the Mecha Ape. Wonder what's that's going to be. Nearly 10% of revenue. So we'll actually probably leave it there. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again. Bye for now.